Welcome to Notes from Home, where we dive into the stories about the music and musicians who call Alabama home. I'm Catherine Bashir.
And I'm Ernie Williams. And today we're joined by special guests Taylor Hollingsworth and Eric Wallace of Birmingham-based band The Blips. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so you guys collectively have been in a whole bunch of bands, right? That people might recognize. Y'all have either fronted or been a part of bands like Vulture Whale, The Dead Fingers, Connor Oberst, Lee Baines, and the Glory Fires. And I know that the list goes on and on and on. And it sounds like Will Stewart was the impetus for getting you guys together. So how did that all happen?
I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's the way that I remember it, and it seems to be told all different ways. So probably in everybody's mind, they probably know it a different way. But, I remember I was texting with Will at one point about starting a band, and then separately, I had been texting with Chris about starting a band, and me and Will's little thing was coming together first. We brought up Wes McDonald to play drums, and then he mentioned getting Chris and Eric. And then when I was talking to Chris about starting a band, it was actually with Eric too. So I was like, yeah, this will be great. Two birds, one stone kind of thing.
Yeah, it was a magical time. Because at the time too, I was playing in Will's band here and there. And then we had played one show where Taylor put together just a random band that involved me and Chris to play six or seven of his old songs for one show. And so all of this was happening like most music scenes in Birmingham. Everything is kind of like overlapping on top of itself. Yeah. And here we are.
Awesome.
All right, so the Blips recorded their first album late 2019. You were ready to launch it out into the world the start of 2020 and tour. You see where I'm going. Then COVID hits. So how did you guys handle that? What was the effect on the band, and how'd you overcome that?
Well, interesting note. I mean, we actually played a show at Seasick Records the very last day, right before everybody officially shut down. Huh. And then we played a show right when it opened back up too, which was our album release. Of course, we pushed the album release for that to happen.
Right.
So, it was scheduled to come out in the middle of COVID. But, I think we handled it well. We actually finished mixing the record through COVID during the times of COVID, and we never once were together, but because of technology nowadays, we were bouncing mixes. Like the guy Brad Timko, who was mixing the record, would bounce the mix through email to us. We would all listen. I think everybody would take notes and send them to me, and then I would call Brad and give him our notes. And then we even ended up recording a few vocals from because we all have home studios. And
right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we even ended up recording a few things that got put on the record too.
Oh yeah.
And sent that through, you send a link, like a Dropbox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So you stay connected.
Yeah.
You got it done.
Made it happen.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It turned out really great. Had no clue what to expect or how that would all go, but it went great.
But it became a thing.
Yeah.
It became a thing.
Yeah. Well, I know we listed some of these bands earlier, but you each are in a variety of other bands that are local and otherwise. And so are the Blips a side project, or has this become the main thing for you? And how do you even know?
Yeah, I think everybody would tell a different story. My, thinking back to that year of recording and then coming out and playing a big album release show when everything was, when it was safe to do that. In that time, I started this nonprofit, and I had a son So
Okay.
that became
It's a
my,
big project.
those were became my main projects.
Mhm.
And everybody in the band is, and I play in some other bands with some of the other guys in this band. And yeah, I think we all have, I think we could all safely say that it's a side project that we would all probably rather be doing than anything else.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we all, we all have so many individual things that we're passionate about. So it's kind of, like you could call it a side project, but I wouldn't that doesn't make it any less of a band that we care about. I mean, we would certainly, go on the right tours and things if it happens. So,
Just taking it as it comes.
yeah, exactly. I mean, we all have families, we're all
Yeah.
been doing it for a while.
We're old.
Yeah.
I'll just
We're
say,
old.
We're old.
Seasoned.
Yeah, we're
Seasoned.
seasoned.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so this is a name origin question. If you look up blip in the dictionary, it's going to say something like a trace on a screen, like a radar screen, or something small or inconsequential in a larger context. What were y'all thinking when you named your band the
Oh, man,
Blips?
you should see the text thread we had going for about 8 months.
of band names.
Yeah, band names. I mean, it was harder than naming my child, probably.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
I think it was Wes McDonald who actually came up with the Blips.
He came up with it, and then you were advocating for it, and it was just the one that rose up to the top. And I like that it's an insignificant. I mean, none of
I
us.
think that was the point. Yeah,
None of us have a whole lot of ego built up into this. It's just like we're just having a blast doing it, and so we didn't really need to spend that much time naming the band.
All right, so I love the no ego part, but put that aside or bring it to the forefront and tell me, what are your hopes and dreams for the Blips? Like, what does success look like? I would imagine it would be to be more than something inconsequential or a blip on the screen. So paint success for me.
I mean, to me, it would just be able to, reach maybe a larger audience that we're reaching at this point. And I mean, I think all of us would take it as our first job if it came that way.
Yep.
But I think at the same time we're all happy with our lives as they are. So it's kind of like just a project amongst friends that have all been doing it for a long time. And
Right.
I mean, we all wish the best. So I think none of us want to be burning down the road 200 dates a year or anything like that. So it doesn't look like that.
No.
But some touring, moderate touring, and tough to sell records in the current Spotify, Apple Music climate. So I think
my goal is to I mean, success looks like hanging out with the four of them and playing a really fun show.
Cool.
Yeah.
Maybe having it end early enough to where I don't lose the
Get
next
home
day.
to your family.
yeah.
Have responsibilities.
Yeah.
Well, that's the dream.
I mean, a business that doesn't break even.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, for those not familiar with your music yet, because obviously, it's not been that long that you've been playing together. How would you describe your sound?
Yeah, I think Taylor really there was before we ever gotten together, I sent a text. I was like, what are we doing here? I got a couple of songs laying around. You guys want to hear these songs? And Taylor was like, no, let's just get in the room and just start playing. And that's what we did. And we pretty organically put everything together. And also Taylor made a really I think, like you said it first, but we all try our best to abide by it. Not too many chords.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my idea was, we're all busy with so many other things. And, the reality of us being able to rehearse, every day before a show is not very feasible. So, to me, it was like, let's make a band with simple, fun, catchy songs that we can all get up there and knock them out with, 1 or 2 rehearsals.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
we're still going to, we've been playing long enough to where we know how to do that.
Can just put it together.
When you write really complicated songs, it doesn't matter how great the musician is. I mean, it's a memory problem at that point.
Yeah.
It's like, how many, you got to get it into your rhythm, So, that was my thing. Was like, keep it simple,
Yeah. And
good old rock and roll.
Yep.
Yeah, we all listen to this to a lot of different things, but generally, that sort of early garage rock and roll vibe is what we're
3 chords
sound
and the
like.
truth.
3 chords and the truth.
Chords and the truth.
I like it.
Stevie Wonder, I believe.
Yeah. Well, will y'all play us one of your songs?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, which one play Gold Rush?
All right.
I wake up early, colorless and sober. Stare at the screen until it makes a little sense. I catalog what I want to remember. I push a button when I want to forget. Give me back my name. I don't wanna be erased with the camera. Give me back my name. Oh, the camera see you without discrimination. In photographs, I look so happy and clean. With 1s and 0s, I eliminate the defects. I trust the lens, the man, the machine. Give me back my name. I don't wanna be erased with the camera. Give me back my name. Come on. Give me back my name. Oh, I don't wanna be erased with that camera. Give me back my name.
Oh man, what about that?
Reworked for acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well done.
Nice.
So you mentioned garage band sound earlier, 3 chords and the truth. Tell us about your musical influences that you had and how you brought those to Blips music. So as I was listening, I was trying to pick out and try to identify. I won't offend you by telling you what I heard, but you guys tell us what influences inform you.
Man, my favorite guitar player, songwriter of all time is Neil Young, and mostly because he's not the greatest guitar player of all time, he's not the greatest songwriter of all time, but he kind of is all those things by not being those things. Everything about the attitude and the way that the reasons behind the ways he makes music kind of informs the way that I think about a lot of things musically and artistically.
Mhm.
So I love Neil Young. I love like old country, and I love a lot of punk music.
Yeah, he's, I think he said it right. I'm same boat, certainly influenced by Neil Young as a young man. And I got into a lot of like blues guitar players. Really got into Earl Hooker. Got into Link Ray really heavily. But yeah, I mean, I went through phases of everything. I mean, every kind of music. There's somebody that I like. I mean, I got into hip hop, punk, country. I mean, if I put on a random playlist, you could go David Allen Coe to Outkast.
Hey.
I mean, to the Ramones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Very eclectic.
yeah.
Mhm.
Love it. Thanks, guys.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, your record label's website asks the question, what happens when 5 frontmen form a band? So we'll let y'all answer that one. What happens?
I don't know.
The Blips.
The blips happen. A blip.
A blip in time and space. The 5th dimension.
Yeah. Cool. Well, what challenges does having all frontmen in a band create, and how do you deal with those, or have there been any?
I mean, no, we don't. Yeah, it doesn't get. It just doesn't get weird.
Mhm.
We don't go on tour together. So
far.
So far, yeah.
we play out of town on the weekends, and it's great. But yeah, nobody's trying to take over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
but
that's
Everybody's it's kind of a group of nice guys that everybody's like, no, you sing your song. No, no.
good. After you.
I'll play the bass.
Instead of it
Yeah.
being the opposite.
Well, let's talk about that. Not only
Yeah.
are you all frontmen, you're all songwriters.
Mhm.
So take it off the road, and you've got the mic in front of you. Talk about the songwriting process when everybody's got a song with 3 in them.
Well, it's really cool. I mean, Taylor's like the most prolific songwriter in Alabama. He's probably written 100 million songs, and like songs are just falling out of him. So the rest of us, like everybody else, like we got songs, but again, the band is very much like, hey, I don't maybe have a song, but I got this thing that I've been messing around with for a while, and then somebody will take it and say, well, what if we do that? And by the end of a 2-hour rehearsal, we'll have a few really, really cool ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the songwriting process it's different than most bands that you would ever be in, but it's very cool.
I mean, I'd say like, you brought that song to the table that we just played. Like we each bring in our own songs.
But you added the B minor.
I did add the B minor.
Which
Yeah.
kind of
Credit
goes
where
against,
credit is due.
Hey.
against your philosophy. That was the 5th chord.
That was a 5th.
There you go.
You're right. But yeah, I mean, so it's just every kind of way. There's really no formula we stick by.
Yep.
So sometimes it's like I'll bring in a song pretty much completely. We might change one thing, might not. But then we have some songs that we literally all wrote a part to, which is cool. I mean, kind of, I think the first band I've been in that has that going on.
Yeah, I think me too.
Sweet.
Yeah. Well, y'all have all been playing in and around Birmingham for a long time. So, how would you say that the scene has changed over the years?
Oh man, that's one of my favorite things.
He's picking in the scene right
Oh,
here.
I'm not. That's the great thing about it. But
The
man,
scene.
it's wild because when I was becoming, a person, like I got keys to a car, basically. I would go to watch these punk bands play in warehouses and wherever else, and eventually Cave 9, that were really heavy, a lot of hardcore bands and a lot of metal influenced bands. and that would have been, the early 2000s. And I think the scene of Birmingham is in a place now where it feels like the 20-year. You always hear your parents talk about how like, oh God, this music I listen to now, it's like just like 20 years ago.
Mhm.
And now, I mean, it's kind of like underground music goes through the same things. I go to a show now, and there's a bunch of kids doing the mosh pit and playing the hardcore songs, and it's great. I mean, it's great to stand there and say like, hey, the kids are all right.
Yeah.
And to then go home. But
Go home.
but the in between time, there's been a lot of like really great indie bands that came out of
Mhm.
Birmingham, and there's been a lot of really cool hip hop music that I know less about that happens in Birmingham. We're really fortunate to have guys like Shaheed and Supreme that have been around for so long and have now started teaching the younger generation how to make that kind of music.
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool, having some feeling like I have some perspective on that now as an old person. And yeah, I guess 20 years from now it'll be the same thing.
Yeah. Comes in waves.
Yeah.
Taylor, would you add anything to that?
Yeah, no, I think that was well said.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about the new album. How's it coming along?
We're
About done.
Okay.
yeah, we're in the mixing process, so hopefully we don't get hit by another pandemic.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
yeah.
gosh.
Start
Yeah.
texting about it, but yeah, it's hopefully we'll be finished in the next month or
Okay.
two, and then it takes time to roll it out. These days vinyl, that takes a long time.
Mhm.
Also, I believe because of COVID, slowed that process down. But yeah, and then the publicity and all that stuff. So we're looking at, I'd say early next year.
Okay.
I'm hoping for January,
Yeah.
February.
Mhm.
Will there be a tour in the works to support that?
I think we should do a tour. Yeah.
All right.
Maybe not anything crazy, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a respectable tour.
Go up to
Yes.
Go up to Huntsville.
Gentle.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you're willing, we'd love to hear a selection from the new album, or if you're not willing, another of your favorites that you've already got in the can.
Yeah.
What you want to do?
I'll leave it up to you.
Well, we were gonna do Inside Out from the old record, but I guess we could do a new one.
Okay.
Was it 1, 2, 1? Talking to her, you wouldn't know what she would do to you. The teacher's class behind those glasses hides inside true disasters. I got money for nothing, a nice try playing it off again. We see right through your new vernacular, sucking tongue, blood from Dracula. Don't let them occupy your weakness. As long as you can breathe this close to fire, you'll steal your heart's desire. Good-looking liars, blonde-haired and blue-eyed criers, shed a tear when they need to appear, and every smile is insincere. Thank you for being honest, but to prove this, prove you're on the list. Sweet tea and whiskey bottles is your word versus the judge's daughters. They'll charge a cover to watch you dig a hole. Everyone needs a safe place to go for when it gets too windy. The kids get sucked into tornadoes. Don't let them
them occupy your weakness. Long as you can breathe this close to fire, you'll steal your heart's desire. Good looking liars, blonde hair and blue-eyed criers, shed a tear when they need to appear. Yeah, every smile is insincere. Good-looking liars, blonde hair and blue-eyed criers, they shed a tear when they need to appear, and every smile is insincere. Good-looking liars, blonde hair and blue-eyed criers, they shed a tear when they need to appear, and every smile is insincere.
Awesome.
All
Way to
right.
go, guys.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Thanks.
Well, thanks for joining us on Notes from Home. If you liked this episode, be sure to subscribe. And if you want to see more from our interview with Eric and Taylor, visit us at alabamanewscenter.com.